Hello, this is Chris with a quick message. We had some audio issues when we recorded this podcast, so you will notice a dip in quality around 25 to 30 minutes, and we're recording over FaceTime, and we had a lot of issues with that, so we originally eventually just have to go to a phone call. So, Chris's audio isn't as great as it should be, but we still want to get this episode out on time, and next episode there will not be a audio dip. So, yeah, we apologize, and we hope you enjoy and still want to listen. Alright. Thanks for listening to the Two Black Two Nerdy podcast. Hello and welcome to the 16th edition of the Two Black Two Nerdy podcast. I'm your host, Chris.
Sweet 16. I'm your co-host, Chris.
And, today we just have a variety of miscellaneous podcasts, and yeah, it is a Sweet 16, so yeah, we've been at this for quite a while, so it's been pretty exciting. So I guess the first thing we want to get into is the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah, came out on Thursday night. I definitely enjoy it. So far, I think we're about at the same part in the game. I'm about 40-45% in.
Same.
Yeah, I would definitely give it a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are comparing it to the Batman Arkham games, which it does. It definitely takes some ideas from them, but it still feels like Spider-Man.
Yeah, the combat is more Spider-Man.
Acrobatic and fluid.
Yeah, the little things are Batman, like the towers and the little, science things. Those are Batman.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some ideas in it that they lifted from Batman. You know, but it still feels like Spider-Man. I mean, the way you fight just feels like more of a fluid, more dynamic way. You've got Spider-Man. He has a ton of Spider-Man gadgets. There are tons of unlockable suits. One thing I do like, someone mentioned this, is that instead of having to go to the main menu to change suits, you can just do it by pressing the home button, I guess. So I mean, that is just really cool. I did pre-order, so I got the Infinity War suit and the Homecoming suits, both versions, the crappy one and the main one he had in Homecoming, are both in the game, which I thought were nice.
Yeah, I have the Stark one from Homecoming. The only thing I like from that is the suit power.
Oh, the drone.
Yeah, that breaks me out of some jams.
Yeah, no, and another thing about the suits is that each one you unlock an ability with it, but you don't have to use that ability with that specific suit. So like with Iron Spider, you get the Iron Spider arms, and yeah, with the Homecoming suit, you get the Spider drone. So you get a variety of abilities, and it's just fun to mix and match, just to vary up the gameplay. Can we talk about how amazing the web swinging is?
Yeah, it is really intuitive. It makes you feel like Spider-Man. I think one of the favorite little hidden things is not really hidden, but things that don't happen as often is like if you're going right underneath a water tower or something, you'll swing in between the when you go to the zip point, you'll go right in between the steel bars, like he's done in the movies or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. I've never actually gotten to do that where I planned to do it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the ability, you get to explore a huge amount of the city, and it's littered with both some real life locations and then comic book Easter eggs. So
how many do we want to talk about, or do we want to pick one?
Well, there are some obvious ones. I mean, Avengers Tower is in the game. No Avengers, yeah. But you do get Avengers Tower, and you do get the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
that was the first one I found.
Which one?
Was the Sanctum. I wasn't even looking for it. I was just I think I was doing a side mission, and I stopped at the ledge, and I was looking right at it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
But I think, so I saw Avengers Tower. I was really hoping for the Baxter building, but I was just like, you never know with how those deals are going on, if Marvel was feeling them or not. But the Wakandan embassy is in there.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And part of a And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was gonna say part of the challenge in the game is that you you can take pictures of the different landmarks, and Spider-Man will make a comment each time you do that.
Yeah, and so I've honestly so when I went to do one of the side missions and it's hidden all throughout the city, I went to each and every like police one and I filled out or I found all of them. And I just did all of them, so that way I could see the total city and be able to go to the different ones by just fast traveling on the map.
Yeah, no, I mean the fast traveling ability is nice, but I hate to say it, I almost like just going to stuff manually.
Yeah, but the fast traveling is funny though.
Oh, in the subway.
Yeah, instead of just going to a load screen, the load screen is you're on a subway in your Spider-Man suit, and people are looking at you like, what? Or you're actually interacting with people. The fact that he has a Twitter account and tweets at people, I'm like, yeah, that's really Spider-Man. That is truly Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game, because it's been so long since there's been, like, a good Marvel game, because Marvel Capcom Infinite was not it. Like, just the amount of detail that they put into it, like, they made the game for Spider-Man fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, just the amount of, like, lore and Easter eggs. And the game has its own canon, but they kind of pulled things from, like, different versions of Spider-Man. Like, Miles Morales plays a role in the story. And I don't want to spoil it, but it kind of caught me off guard. Like, I knew Miles was in it, but I had no idea how the story was going to go. And a certain part in the game happens, and you're like, oh, wait, that's who that was. And I'm like, oh, you know?
I think I know what part you're talking about. Yeah, we'll talk in more specifics about that, not on the podcast, or maybe next podcast we go into that. But
yeah, we'll wait for everyone to play it and get through it, because it's only the first weekend.
Right.
Because I haven't beat it yet, so, you know... But I definitely appreciated that. There are certain twists like coming that I know, like your job is working with Dr. Otto Octavius, you know, working on, you know, these mechanical arms, and I'm like, well, we all know what's going to happen there. We've all seen Spider-Man 2, even if you aren't familiar with the comics, you know.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, Dr. Octavius, oh.
You're like, all right, well, you know, countdown. It's just like, it's almost like a countdown until, you know.
Now, let me pose this question to you. For a game like this, would you rather they make a sequel or continually add DLC and build on it?
It depends. So, well, DLC's already planned. For this game, I mean, it probably took them so long to make it. I wouldn't mind more DLC expansions. You know, if they add in some extra villains and extra missions and whatnot, I think that's fine. I think for them to warrant making a sequel to this, they'd have to do it like they did with the Arkham games, where you gotta expand it. You know, either Spider-Man, maybe you're able to leave New York or go to other parts of New York, or, you know, in my opinion, a sequel will warrant them, like, just upping the scale that they have, you know, in this game. And this game is already fairly large.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the amount of New York you get to explore is probably bigger than Arkham City, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's probably bigger than Arkham City, probably around the size of Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's definitely bigger than Arkham City, and I'm pretty sure it's bigger than Arkham Origins.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's already a pretty massive game, and from what I hear, like I said, I haven't beat the game yet. I know there are some characters they hold off on that they could definitely put in sequels. Like, no spoilers, I don't think there's any Venom or any symbiote stuff in the game at all.
Yeah, I see if they're going to do that, that is going to be like a huge DLC.
Yeah.
With a lot of, but sort of, the plot I imagine is sort of like the game they've already done. What was it, like Web of Shadows or something, where you had the symbiotes taking over the city and infecting different people?
Yeah, it was Web of Shadows. Was that the one you could play as a Venom and fight Wolverine?
Yeah.
In a bar?
That was the one.
Yeah.
That was, like, distinctly what I remember about that game.
It's weird. But if they wanted to expand, I mean, they definitely could do... I mean, they've kind of tried this idea before, but they could do a Spider-Verse thing where you have, you know, you can play as the other Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could bring in Spider-Gwen, you can obviously do Miles and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they'll see how Spider-Gwen gets a reaction out of fans into the Spider-Verse. And you know they'll probably have a DLC for that.
Oh, for sure.
It makes me wonder, though, are they just going to do... Because you have... What is it, November that Venom comes out, or is it October?
I think it's... October? It comes out soon. Like, really soon.
Yeah, so you have that. And then in December, you have Into the Spider-Verse. So you have pretty much back-to-back big Spider-Man things, and are you going to do DLC that quickly back-to-back, or what? Or are you just going to do costumes for one?
Yeah, it's coming out in October. October 5th. Comes out in less than a month.
Oh, wow. I feel like
I don't know.
Very underwell done.
I just don't have no idea how that movie's going to go.
Yeah, that second trailer gave me a little bit of hope, but at the same time.
The real question is he going to have a spider symbol on his chest? Probably not. Probably not. But I'm trying to think of any other good details. I mean, most people, if you're a Spider-Man fan and you have a PlayStation 4, you're going to get this game. Yeah, the combat's good, web swing's good. You get an option that is similar to Arkham, where you have to sneak up on people. There's different ways to take them down, different gadgets and stuff. That's a lot of fun. The plot is definitely... I think the plot is pretty good. You know, there is some definite... There's a variety of characters. I do like, in certain segments, this isn't really a spoiler, you get to play as Mary Jane and Miles Morales and do different tasks. When you're Peter Parker and Otto Octavius' lab, you get some fun mini games. So, you know, there's a lot to do in the game. There's tons of side missions. There's DLC on the horizon. So, I mean, if you're a Spider-Man fan or you're just a fan of just, you know, fun action games in general, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. It'll probably be up for Game of the Year, to be honest.
Probably. I'm not the biggest fan of playing as Mary Jane because this makes Mary Jane feels more like a Lois Lane type.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, they definitely turned her into Lois.
And I'm just like, that's fine, but that's never really been Mary Jane's personality. But all right, whatever. I'm down for it if you guys are. I just don't really want to play as her because I want to fight people.
Yeah,
sneak around.
You have to sneak.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention the picture mode.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
So there's a picture mode in the game. Pretty much any point during the game that isn't a cutscene, you can pause it and take a picture of the game itself. And the picture mode actually has a selfie mode where you can take a selfie. You can take a selfie jumping off buildings in the middle of battle. Even when you're playing as Mary Jane and Miles, you can take a selfie. So Chris, I don't know if I sent you the
Yeah.
There's one part where you're playing as Miles, and it's like very super serious, super dark, and you can just take a selfie, and it's funny.
Yeah, I've taken a selfie in like the middle of battle where like I'm throwing someone, then I'm just like pause, selfie.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it's just a nice touch, you know. Like I said, like there's just a lot to the game that I really enjoy. And one other thing, they kind of turned J. Jonah Jameson. He kind of reminds me of Alex Jones in this.
Yeah, you caught that too. Okay.
Yeah, so J. Jonah Jameson, you know, he's a Picture the Spider-Man guy. He's not... Spider-Man doesn't work for him in this game, but he's pretty much like a shock jock on the radio, and all he does is he talks crap about Spider-Man all the time. And it's supposed to be like a contrast to, like, you know you're Spider-Man and you know how hard you're working and how much work you're putting in. And he blamed you for everything. But, like, he went on a rant on, like, J. Jonah Jameson in the game goes on a rant about, like, millennials and, like, baristas with man buns. And I'm just like, they're really kind of making fun of, like, far far right-wing pundits and like, you know, the angry shock jock type people. So I thought that was a really good, cool way of integrating Jameson, you know, into the game.
There is one, and I don't know if you've heard this one because it wasn't story specific. It's probably just one of the ones that just comes around, where he's talking about the scorpion. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. I see what you guys are going for here. But yeah, really enjoyable game. You should definitely go get it. If you don't have a PS4, you should probably go buy one like my brother and I did for this game.
Also, fun fact, Alex Jones got booted off Twitter this week, so...
Twitter, he got booted off...
Well, Twitter was... He got booted off the other one. He got booted off YouTube and Facebook before, and Twitter was, like, holding out.
Yeah, and he just got booted off of something else, like, 2 days ago. So
I'm just like, Jesus
I want to say
Christ.
something Apple-related.
Yeah.
Twitter and InfoWars.
Yeah, he yelled at Marco Rubio, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, so you want to get into Cloak and Dagger?
Yes. You've watched it. It's still on my to-do list.
Yeah, I can cut through it pretty fast. So, Cloak and Dagger is we mentioned it before, but it's a pretty good show. It deals with kind of the contrast between Tyrone, who is Cloak, and Tandy, who is Dagger, and sort of the dynamics of their lives. Cloak and Dagger from the comics was very big. Cloak and Dagger and Green Arrow were like the two comics, like the 80s, that talked about like drugs and a lot of like real life issues that people were facing, and the show definitely stays true to that. There's kind of a mystery that goes on in the first season. I don't want to spoil it, but I enjoyed it. It's definitely a different kind of show. It's not like the typical, like, you know, powers awakened costume and fighting crime. It's much more of like a mystery and a character study.
Okay.
I mean, I would definitely say if it's closer to any of the shows, it's probably closer to a Jessica Jones.
Okay.
More than anything else. So if that is that's kind of your speed, I would definitely say check it out.
Okay.
And it's pretty. They keep things pretty comic accurate. There's a decent there's some diversity in the cast, you know. Quite a few black characters at the very least. So I enjoyed it. Do we want to talk about DC's streaming service?
Yes, DC's streaming service. My brother has pre-ordered it. So I'm going to leech on that one because we made a deal. He's going to do DC, I'm going to do Disney. So that way we'll have both DC and Marvel.
That's cool.
But yeah, so it's going to have Static Shock and Batman Beyond and all those like WB cartoons. So that pretty much sold it to me right there. I don't really care about the original content unless there's something that like really strikes my fancy. I'm really in it for Justice League, just all the cartoons basically.
Young Justice is going to be on there.
Yeah.
As far as the live action stuff, what they're doing like Titans and Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol.
Well, you know, I don't understand Swamp Thing like I do, but I'm just like, you need the entire sort of like DC Mysticverse to really make that good.
Yeah, and I'm like, Swamp Thing to me is also one of those characters, like, he's almost like the Hulk, where he's much better when he interacts with other characters, as opposed to, like, just doing his thing alone, you know?
Right.
Like, I've liked Swamp Thing with, like, Justice League Dark and that kind of thing, so, I don't know how they're going to do that. You know, Titans, I'm going to give it a chance. I think people are being a little too hard on it, to be honest, because we really haven't seen that much, you know.
I've just been confused about people's reaction to Robin in the trailer, because they're just like, Robin was never that, you know, that way. And
they're making it too edgy, and it's like, dude, like, Dick Grayson rebelled against Batman. That is why he went to the Teen Titans.
That's why the Teen Titans got formed. All the sidekicks were rebelling against their hero counterparts. That's literally what it was, and it was the age group because that's what teenagers do to adults. They rebel.
Yeah, like the internet. I mean, people are so hard to satisfy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm optimistic. I hope that what's her name, Anna Diop. Hopefully, Starfire is okay.
Her wig, she gets a better wig.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was talking to somebody online about, like, you know, how Robin was fighting. They're like, that he's killing people, he's shooting people. I'm just like, no, they're fighting literally like they do in Arkham Asylum. Oh man, that's not real. That's just for the aesthetic of the game. I'm just like, really? The aesthetic of the game, whatever.
Yeah. People have been really just super like negative when it comes to a lot of stuff. So yeah, pretty much. I have hope for the Titans show. We'll see how it turns out. You know, the thing is, like, as much as people complain about Starfire, I would think the hardest character to do on that show would be Beast Boy. You know, like, is there going to be a bunch of CGI? Is he not going to transform into animals and just do like a Vixen thing where you see like the spirit? You know, I'm curious to see how they're going to do that.
I think it works for. Yeah, I think it works for Vixen because that's how it kind of is in the comics. But I don't know so much about Beast Boy.
Yeah. Raven's easy, you know. Nightwing just get some good stunt doubles, but yeah, Beast Boy would be the one I'd worry about. Mm-hmm. And Hawk and Dove, I guess. And I think Donna Troy's going to be in that show. So I don't whatever. Yeah. But I'm still excited for the streaming service. They're going to have comics on there. I figure that's where all the old DC cartoons were going to go just because they took them off Netflix. So, you know. So that's all fine and dandy. And they're going to have like I think they're going to have like a talk show on there. Like, I don't know if you ever watched like DC All Access. It was like they had a segment on DC's YouTube channel where they talked about upcoming things in the week. I think they're moving some of that kind of stuff to the streaming service as well.
Yeah.
They're going to have some YouTubers on there.
Yep, Kevin Smith is at least going to be on there for the beginning of it.
Yeah, Kevin Smith will be on there. Do you know Jason Inman? Yeah, I think Jason Inman's going to be on there.
I mean, give it a year and then we'll all be saying, begun the streaming wars have.
Yeah, I mean, streaming is going to kill cable, and we're going to have to choose between like 500 different streaming services, and if the smaller ones want to survive, they're going to have to bundle together.
Yeah, honestly, I'm probably going to say with the majority of the content I watch, besides like the live stuff, DC and Disney will probably cover most of my bases.
I do Crunchyroll for anime.
Well, I wasn't including them because otherwise I couldn't really. Besides, unless I'm trying to watch the dub, I can't really watch anime on TV. Except for Hulu, that's how I watch My Hero Academia.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting. My Hero's wrapping up. Deku's about to fight Bakugo. I don't know if it's the last episode, but if it's not, we're getting pretty close.
It should be, like, the aftermath of their fight should be the last episode. That's a good break point.
Because you're up on the manga, I'm not.
Yeah.
I know the next new big character is going to be, like, the person that was going to be All Might's successor.
Oh, yeah, okay. That story arc is wild.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, man. Like, granted, I really love the All Might All for One fight, but that story arc is wild.
That's good. And,
yeah, like, so I would say these first 3 seasons have been an arc in of themselves. I say that story arc with who the replacement should have been, like, that's starting a whole new story arc.
Okay.
That's at least how I see it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. All right, do we want to get in Iron Fist season 2?
can tell me about that.
Yeah.
Still disappointment of a Marvel series.
So, yeah, this will be interesting. So for those of you who didn't know, Iron Fist is one of the Marvel Netflix shows. The first season was universally panned as the worst of the Marvel Netflix shows. People did not like Finn Jones' Danny Rand. You had some people who don't like the white savior trope, and they thought that this show was another example of that. And then a lot of people just didn't like the portrayal of Danny Rand that they had in general. He was really whiny. He was really whiny, and it was hard to relate to him and root for him in a way that you normally root for a lot of other superheroes. The action was weak. The only really bright point was that people liked Colleen Wing in the show, so that was cool. And yeah, so Iron Fist season 1 was not that good. Season 2, I finished season 2, so I took one for the team to report back. They made quite a few positive changes to the show, and I will say it's definitely better than season 1. I don't think it's amazing. You know, I'm definitely not like, oh, go run out and go binge it the first weekend. If you have some time in your hands, I will say maybe go back in and check it out to see if you get something out of it. You know, the biggest changes they make, it's only 10 episodes instead of 13, so they're finally listening to people and going, okay, all these shows are too long. Okay, yeah, okay, so they did that. They hired a new action choreographer. I think they got someone who worked on Black Panther, and the action is substantially better. There's a lot less obvious stunt doubles and cuts between, like, the actual impact, and especially Colleen Wing gets some really good fights because, like, Jessica Henwick actually knows how to do choreography, and it just shows, you know what I mean? You know, it shows they know what they're doing. As far as the plot, the Hand is still gone. The main villain, this isn't spoilers in the trailer, it's Davos. So Davos from season 1 is like full-blown villain. And, he's not the best, but he's not the worst. But he does, put up quite a bit of a fight, and he beats up the good guys quite a bit. And, I mean, this is a spoiler, but he gets the Iron Fist power, and in the comics, he's a Steel Serpent, so I thought all of that was pretty cool. And, Chris, I already spoiled the ending for you. Again, it's Iron Fist, so I'm not too worried, so here's a spoiler warning. Skip ahead 5 or so minutes, because the big game changer they did is with the ending. So, spoilers in 1, 2, 3. Alright, so as I mentioned before, Davos takes the Iron Fist power from Danny, and in the season finale, or the final 2 episodes, they beat Davos, and they transfer the Iron Fist power to Colleen because Danny says that he doesn't want it. So now Colleen is the new Iron Fist and the new protector of New York, and they added some extra stuff in about Colleen's ancestor was one of the original Iron Fists back in the day, I guess. Apparently there have been female Iron Fists in the comics, which I looked that up. I didn't know. And the 2 like end scenes of the season is that you see Colleen Wing. She's able to channel the Iron Fist power into her sword. So a lot of people, you know, did not like Danny Rand. Danny Rand leaves and goes to Japan, and Colleen Wing's in New York, and she's the new protector. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. I think this is a great moment for them to just do a Daughters of Dragon show, because Colleen Wing has powers, and Misty Knight has her arms. At this point, it's like, okay, well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Misty Knight has her arm.
Yeah, so that was that's pretty much like the big thing they did with this season. Like I said, not amazing, but yeah. So anyway, just to wrap it up, it like I said, it wasn't an amazing season, but it's definitely an improvement. If you're hardcore into the Defender shows, I think it's worth checking out. If you just hated season 1 of Iron Fist and everything about it, or, you know, some people are like boycotting it for representation reasons, I mean, Have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch the fight scenes. I'm not that vested in the Meechums or anything like that, so I don't care.
Yeah. So, I wanted to kind of bring this to a larger conversation about, the state of Marvel TV. You know, I just want to talk about, people have really soured on the Marvel Netflix shows, you know, over the past year, and I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that, you know?
I mean, it's interesting because Daredevil season 1, everything was great. Jessica Jones, even though everybody wasn't feeling it, a lot of people still really liked it. It had a lot of really good things. Even, you know, parts like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Jessica Jones season 1, but it had some really, like, Jessica Jones was good, Killgrave was good, like, Killgrave was great. And Luke Cage came out. Luke Cage was really good, at least for the first 6 episodes, and the last 6 episodes were kind of meh, but it still kept me going, and Ironfist was just so bad. And The Defenders was okay. Daredevil season 2 was pretty good.
Everybody forgets about Punisher.
I never finished. Yeah, Punisher never really captured me. It really didn't.
Yeah. He didn't do a lot of punishing in that show. It was very, like, military, conspiracy, you know.
Yeah, so I didn't really feel that all that much. So I was just like, okay, well, and it didn't really build into the Defenders universe all that much. So I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But then, you know, Luke Cage season 2 comes out, and, you know, we talked about what my gripes were with the show, but I thought, you know, it was a solid sophomore season, but it was still kind of a sophomore slump for me. And then you have Ironfist season 2 come out, and it's still rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, which is hilarious. That it got such a huge bump, but it's still considered rotten. And, you know, Daredevil season 3 is going to be the saving grace. Jessica Jones 2, I felt like that sort of got the same reception as Jessica Jones, but honestly, the way the shows are going, then Mike Coulter has caught a lot of flack for his dumb comments after the Aretha Franklin funeral. If, you know, like, they got to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, I will say this. So, first of all, the whole Mike Coulter situation, he screwed up. I don't know why he would say something like that, you know? Like, because it honestly, who would, you say something like that on Twitter, of course people are going to get offended. You know what I mean? It's rude, it's inappropriate, and, you know, you're not some 13-year-old boy with an account who can get away with saying whatever he wants online. You know what I mean? You're a black actor on a flagship you know, TV show. You know, Luke Cage is a character that, you know, black people are supposed to be able to look up to and whatnot. And, you know, you play that character, it comes with some responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it was dumb.
And it wasn't even something that you could defend. It was just plain stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was not a good day for black men. That was, because the Twitter storm, I mean, people were talking about replacing him with Terry Crews, you know.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough day.
For sure.
Twitter for that.
But I will say, you know, the weirdest thing with the Marvel Netflix shows now is that I feel like after Defenders, they're writing it as they go, and there's, like, no plan. Like, I don't know, with the earlier seasons, I always felt like, even with how bad Iron Fist was, you always kind of had the feeling like, okay, the best is yet to come. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you were like, okay, well, maybe Iron Fist wasn't that good, but once we get to Defenders, this will be awesome. Or once they get to, you know, they're building whatever up to do, you know, whatever in these later shows. But now you just kind of feel like they're just like, okay, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like when you have this sort of TV universe, you can't really do that when you're having these characters sort of make up in the same time frame. Like, even though you have, talk about the Arrowverse, you have all these shows sort of interacting every once in a while. They never did like one collective show for it, unless you want to mention Legends, but Legends in and of itself is its own show.
For sure.
And not just like, okay, yeah, this one-off thing, which is looking like Defenders is going to be, which I honestly think is a mistake.
Yeah,
honestly could have built Defenders into just being its own show.
Yeah, well, Defenders didn't even get renewed, so it sounds like they're not even going to do that. I'm curious because they do. There is a teaser for Daredevil season 3 at the end of Iron Fist.
Oh, okay.
And also, I'm sure we'll get a full trailer at New York Comic Con. Because they are speeding up the release of these shows as well. But all I want from them is, okay, guys, you got to give me some sort of plan of what to come or what the future is. There's rumors that they're not going to do any more new Netflix shows, because they want to make original shows for Disney's new streaming app is going to be announced at some point. So,
right.
I'm curious to see, just like, okay, well, what are they going to do? Because, like I said before, the earlier seasons, I always felt like, again, yeah, the best is yet to come. No, we're going to get Punisher? Cool. Now I just feel like we're just kind of meandering, where it's like, okay, Luke is pretty much a gangster now, and Colleen's the new Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones is just kind of there, and I'm just kind of like, what are we going to build towards anything?
Right.
Because even with, the MCU, the movies, each movie may be flawed. All the movies are in some way flawed within themselves, but you always get the feeling that they're always building towards something else, which at this point they were all building towards, Infinity War.
Right.
Where, okay, even say if you didn't enjoy something like Thor Ragnarok, you still appreciate seeing that movie before Infinity War, because otherwise the opening you'd be like, okay, wait, what's going on? How does Loki have the stone? Where's Asgard? You know what I mean?
I didn't appreciate it. I appreciate nothing about that movie.
But it's funny that movie gets so much praise, like, online. Like, you ask people their top 5 Marvel movies, and Ragnarok is up there half the time.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, good for you, you're wrong.
Yeah, and like I said, and I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but, like, political, like, liberals and, like, lefties love that movie. I guess because, like, because of, like, the whole anti-imperialism message, I guess, and, like, the white man's empire crumbles. But even then, I'm still like, eh.
Yeah, that.
I mean, I've seen articles and tweet storms about it, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, best MCU movies, Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok, and I'm like, is it though?
Yeah, I mean, granted, there's never gonna be that non-cultural factor for Black Panther, but yeah, I mean, at least villain-wise, Black Panther is up there as a great MCU movie. Like, it's in my top 3. But it sort of branches us into Captain Marvel, because when you think of superhero movies with cultural significance, you have Wonder Woman, and I don't know if Captain Marvel will be able to recapture that, because Captain Marvel's not really an icon. But Captain Marvel has been very prominent in the Marvel comics for at least the past decade.
For sure.
And I'm a fan of Brie Larson. From what I've seen, like the photos and stuff, besides the scrolls, I think it looks pretty good.
I have a feeling that Captain Marvel is going to be littered with MCU Easter eggs for past movies.
Yeah, probably.
Because there's an old Nick Fury's in it, Phil Coulson's in it, Ronan's in it, and who's the Black Iron Guardians one? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what his name in the movie is, but it's Jimon Honsu.
Yeah, him. Like, they're all going to be in it. I wouldn't be shocked if we get references to, like, there's going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. references in it. There's going to be Guardians references in it for sure. And they're actually bringing in the Skrulls, so I'm curious if they are setting up some form of secret invasion down the line.
Down the line, I think I would be okay with it. I would not be okay with it if it tied into Avengers 4. But I think it's funny. Well, I have a couple of things. I think it's funny that Jimon Honsu, he's in Captain Marvel, which comes out in March, but he's also in Shazam as the Wizard, which comes out in... When does it come out next year? Oh, it comes out sometime next year. So he's in both Captain Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think it's funny that both these movies are going to end up releasing, within the same year.
Yeah.
For sure.
So then my question is because, okay, so Captain Marvel apparently is going to be half Kree.
Is she?
Yeah, so that's how that's going to work, apparently. Which some people were upset about. You're like, you're not keeping true to comics. I personally don't care. Depending on the iteration, she either got blasted by something the Marvel did, or her blood transferred it, or his blood transferred to her blood, and that got her powers. It really doesn't matter. She has her blood. Or she has his blood. That's the important thing. Whatever, she has the powers. So apparently a lot of it is going to take place off-world, which I'm fine with. You can use Captain Marvel to re-jettison into the cosmic universe, since you're not bringing James Gunn back, and then she can head up the Guardians or team up with the Guardians that way, or at least some of them. I don't really understand her being the most powerful MC, or not to understand it. I don't think that's going to end up well, because while she'll be like stupid powerful and help beat Thanos in Avengers 4, when it comes to Avengers 5, she's gonna be nuked and not be as powerful for whatever reason, because that just seems to be Marvel's pattern, where you introduce a really strong character in the next movie, they just get hindered for some reason.
Vision. Was that Vision shade?
Scarlet Witch, or and then, people like Captain America, which, Captain America's my boy, but Captain America, Black Widow get powered up for, no reason.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you're saying. I mean, they're gonna try to use, Captain Marvel as one of the new headliner superheroes for the MCU, because you can't have Captain America and Iron Man forever,
Right.
So we'll see. A lot of people didn't like how the Skrulls looked. People were comparing them to Piccolo from Dragon Ball Evolution. I thought that was funny.
My brother sent me that, and I was like triggered.
Yeah. Let's hope they do some CGI on the eyes or something to help out a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna bash them on how the Skrulls look until after I see a trailer. Because if the trailer comes out and they look the exact same way they did in that picture, then I'll be like, oh yeah, you guys need to do that in post-production, because, they look silly.
Yeah, and a lot of people were expecting we would get a trailer, and I'm like, you guys don't know how this works. We get the photo screens first, and then we get a trailer later down the line, probably at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hold on, guys. I mean, we've been through 20 movies, and you guys still don't know how this works?
No, because you gotta remember, a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon with Ragnarok and with Black Panther, and never watched really any of the other ones.
That's true.
But I do have a question. So you know what CinemaSins is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also watch this channel called Cinema Wins, and it's pretty much sort of the opposite of Cinema Wins, just pointing out the good things instead of nitpicking the bad things. But in that movie, or when the Cinema Wins did Infinity War, they said they felt like Infinity War as a movie, you could just take someone that hasn't seen any of the other MCU movies, and they'd be able to follow along rather well just watching it. I disagree with that statement, almost wholeheartedly, because I feel like they'd be spending so much time trying to figure out who is who and how that relates to everything that they wouldn't be able to enjoy the movie.
I feel like you have to at least be vaguely familiar with, like, the different characters and the teams. Like, my mom hasn't seen the majority of the movies. She had seen Avengers 1, Civil War, and Black Panther.
Yeah, okay.
So she didn't, I had to explain to her, like, she didn't really know, like, who the Guardians were and that kind of stuff. So, certain stuff, like, to her was like Doctor Strange, she's like, okay, so that's the Magician Man. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think to really grasp the situation in Infinity War, there are only like 5 or 7 MCU movies you need to see. You need to see the first Captain America. You need to see Thor. Thor 2, I guess.
Thor 2. You just, I mean, with Thor 2, you just be like, hey, the Collector from Guardians 1 has a stone. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah. The Guardians, probably just the first one. You don't really need to see the second one. Doctor Strange, and Age of Ultron. Avengers and Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Need to see those. That covers most of the stones and get you most of the characters.
For the most part. I've seen Cinema Wins, and I think I've seen that video you're talking about. Like I said, the more I look at Infinity War, the more I think that, like, even though I know some people had issues with it, I really don't know if they could have made a better movie, you know? With just the state of how things were. I don't know.
I think if they waited a year, we probably could have gotten a better movie, in the sense of they would have had the impact of Black Panther in there, and then also and that obviously could change some things, but the dynamic of everything. Plus, with the Fox buyout, maybe you could have had some other things in there that may not have had it be a better movie, but it would have been able to throw some things in, set some things up for later down the line, or at least they would have been able to do that in Avengers 4. Because they pretty much filmed at the same time, minus some things. So I think it wouldn't have been that much better of a movie, but I feel like they could have made a slightly better movie.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost just like, you know, it really was weird how we had Infinity War, and then, like, Ant-Man was thrown in there, and now it's, like, nothing until next year. Because, like, the internet is just people just, like, arguing and complaining, like, constantly. And I'm almost at the point, like, dude, like, I'm over it.
Yeah, it's because they don't have anything else to do, so they're just going to sit there and shout their conspiracy theories, and then be wrong, and then be mad at it like they were at The Last Jedi, but not as mad as it, because apparently Marvel can't do anything wrong. I'm probably going to just enjoy Avengers 4. Honestly, none of us really know where it's going to go, because while could be some comic
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of Infinity Gauntlet they can't do because they don't have the characters. Or if they do, they haven't been introduced. So you're gonna have to spend a good hour introducing, Eternity and all them, which would just not make any sense, and you would lose a lot of the non-comic book fans.
Definitely. All right. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up at all?
We can. So I don't know if you've watched them, but episode 60 of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, part 1 and 2.
Yeah, finally.
It was worth the wait. I hated the wait, but it was worth it. Shout out to Team 4-Star for doing a really fantastic job. Dragon Ball Super, at least the manga, has been catching up, and probably by December, it'll be past the Tournament of Power.
Yeah, are they going to keep going after the Tournament of Power, or are they going to be done?
Yes, that's kind of part of the reason for the break. They want the manga to catch up and surpass the show. Honestly, I think the manga's handled things a lot better. Not a lot better, but in a lot cooler way than the show.
Yeah, the manga is very straight and to the point. They got a lot of the gimmicky characters from the tournament just get destroyed in like one panel.
They made Gohan stronger, or they made Kefla weaker. I'm not really sure which.
But that honestly makes a lot more sense for Gohan to fight Kefla than Goku to have to go Ultra Instinct to beat her. Because a lot of people did not like how overpowered Kefla was in Super, when that happened.
Yeah, and it also sort of is not going to make sense when Broly is super powerful in the movie that apparently they're probably going to... I don't know if you've heard this, but people have been data mining Xenoverse 2.
Uh-huh.
So the DLC that's coming apparently has Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, which lines up with when the movie's coming out.
Yeah, no, I heard about that. It's exciting.
And so, while I am all for Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, because I've always loved Gogeta more than I've loved Vegito, and I love Vegito too, but I'm just like, really? You didn't do anything else, Kira Toriyama? You just trying to cash them checks in? Fine, take company.
Yeah, well, Gogeta is not canon, so, I mean, if you're making Broly canon, you might as well throw Gogeta in there.
That's fine. I have no problem with Gogeta being canon. We can do one for all. Gogeta is stronger.
Yeah, so we can debate who's stronger, Vegeta, Gogeta, or Vegito.
Gogeta is stronger. Welcome to my TED Talk. Yeah, so then Dragon Ball Super is going well. My Hero Academia, I've been loving what they've been doing with the manga. Boruto, I feel like is going to be down a path that'll probably anger me a little bit. But I heard this the other day when talking about Naruto, and if you think about it, in 10, 15 years, there are going to be kids that are growing up, and they'll be watching Shippuden, like Dragon Ball Z, and they'll watch Boruto like they will about GT or Super. And so
I think Boruto might be closer to GT than some people want to realize, but yeah.
It might be, but it has a stronger following than I think GT did. I feel like more people universally accept Boruto than they do GT. And so you'll ask kids in 10, 15 years, oh, did you watch Naruto? They'll be like, what's that? Naruto will be the Dragon Ball of that series.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Is Naruto well, I guess One Piece is probably the show's going to be around forever. 20 more years or so. Though I get worried about that author because he takes breaks a ton. Because he gets sick a lot.
Yeah, he has the ending apparently all written out. Apparently it's more written out than George R. R. Martin has written out. knows where he wants to go. It's just like that in between there that he's just filling in. But he does mostly everything himself, so which is why like he takes breaks and then we're just like, okay, now what?
All I'm saying is just don't pull a Bleach.
Yeah.
Don't end it abruptly, please. With tons of loose ends. Like, if One Piece ended like that... Oh, have you ever watched Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah, I heard that's coming back.
Yeah, apparently that author is weird, man. Like, he comes and goes. Like, he'll write 3 chapters, and then, because it's a monthly, he'll write 3 chapters and then just be done for the year. Yeah. So, but we'll see. I'm trying to think. You haven't started watching Attack on Titan yet, have you?
Yeah, I'm through season 2. I have not started season 3 yet.
Yeah, it's good.
I really enjoyed season 1. Season 2 was okay. It wasn't like the greatest thing. So I'll look forward to watching season 3 when it's over, so I can watch the whole thing and sort of judge it. Like
yeah, that. That makes sense. I mean, I'm having a good time with it. See, season 3, they're unpacking a lot of mysteries they've set up for quite a while. Because I read the manga and like big changes are coming. That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright.
And there will be, isn't a spoiler, but like there will be a time skip at a certain point, and you're just like, what? Not in the anime, but that's where the manga's at right now. Gotta love those time skips.
Yeah, I'm really glad I knew what Attack on Titan was like, at least summarily about before I watched it. Because if I started watching it, I didn't know there was going to be these giant, like, muscle people or giant naked people running around biting people's heads off. I probably would have stopped the show right there.
I don't know how I got into it. I think I caught wind of it online, and I think I checked it out. But I think the moment for that show is when, like, Eren gets eaten, you know?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what's gonna happen? This is crazy. Did they just kill off the main character? You know.
That was the Rock Lee dropping the weights for people.
Pretty much. Another show is pretty decent. You ever watch 7 Deadly Sins?
No, but I definitely heard of that.
Yeah, that's another ongoing weekly manga, and it's not too bad. Anime's had like 2 seasons so far, so like 48 episodes.
So yeah, so that's going on in the anime manga verse. And I guess by the next broadcast, we'll probably have 1 week or maybe 2 of the Arrowverse and all the shows that are coming back.
Yeah, once that happens, we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming, and that'll be a lot of fun. I'm hopeful for Flash that hopefully they do interesting things with his daughter. Yeah, and we'll find out probably why Barry disappeared in whatever future timeline from the newspaper.
Yeah, since like that whole, well, I don't know. Some things have, I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
girls in that newspaper.
Well, the thing is, in the trailer, there's a scene you see. They released a new trailer this week where Barry asks his daughter, "What happens to me in the future?" So hopefully they're bringing that back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and sign off unless you have anything else.
I think that's it for me.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
And this has been the 16th edition of the Two Black, Two Nerdy podcast. If you like the show, share it with your friends. We're on iTunes and Google Play completely free and Podbean. So check us out, and we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.